When I walked into the family reunion, conversations stopped. No one acknowledged me, not even my husband. As I tried to speak, his uncle muttered, "She'll get the hint." My hands shook, but I kept my smile. Oh, I got the hint that night. They got one too, a message they never expected. I don't know how else to start this other than saying I truly didn't see it coming. It was a Saturday evening. We'd been driving all day to Asheville, North Carolina, for David's family reunion. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend in the mountains, a fun little getaway, supposed to be normal. But from the second I walked through the front door of that rental house, I knew something was off. Dead silence. People literally stopped talking. I stepped inside with a smile on my face, carrying the potato salad I'd made that morning. Nobody said hi, not even a head nod. Just blank stares, eyes darting away, shifting in their seats like I had interrupted something. Except what, exactly? David, my husband of 8 years, was standing in the living room by the fireplace. The man I had just driven 6 hours with, the man who kissed me on the forehead at the gas station 2 hours before, didn't even look at me. I said, "Hey everybody." Nothing. A few glanced my way and then right back to their drinks, their phones, their conversations that had completely died the moment I showed up. David's Uncle Ree, sitting on the arm of the couch, said under his breath, "She'll get the hint." I froze. Did I hear that right? I looked at David, nothing. He didn't even react. I laughed, trying to shake it off. Okay. I guess I'll just put this in the kitchen. I walked through the living room past people I'd known for years, people I'd shared holidays with, babysat their kids, gone on vacations with. I walked through them like I was invisible. Nobody moved, nobody helped, nobody said a word. By the time I set the salad down and stood in the kitchen alone, my hands were shaking. What the hell was going on? The rest of the night was no better. I sat next to David at dinner. He didn't speak to me once. Every time I asked him a question, he acted like he didn't hear me. His mom, Sharon, was all smiles to everyone else, but when I tried to join in the conversation, she'd talk over me. I complimented the table setting. No response. I laughed at a joke someone made, silence. It wasn't just passive-aggressive. It was like I literally wasn't there. They were icing me out hard. And the thing is, I wasn't new to this family. We'd been together for almost a decade. I'd been to every reunion, every Thanksgiving, every birthday party, and now all of a sudden I'm invisible. After dinner, people were hanging out in the living room. I went to sit down on the couch next to David. Before I even reached the cushion, his cousin slid over to block the spot with her purse. Okay, so I stood. Then I heard his aunt say to Sharon, loud enough for me to catch it, "I just don't know how much longer this can go on." Sharon sighed and said, "Well, we're making progress. Progress? What progress? I spent the whole night walking on eggshells." I asked David before bed if something was wrong. "Nothing's wrong," he said, scrolling on his phone. "You're overthinking it." Sure, okay, except I wasn't. The next morning I woke up early, couldn't sleep, heart pounding, mind racing. I went downstairs to make coffee. David's phone was on the counter charging. I don't usually snoop, I swear, but something in my gut told me to look. I checked his messages and there it was. A group chat titled Family Plan with David, Sharon, Aunt Margie, and Uncle Ray. Scrolling through was like watching a slow-motion car crash. Sharon wrote, "We'll give it a couple more days. She'll get tired of being ignored and leave." Margie replied, "It's better if she walks out on her own, less messy." David added, "She's already getting weird. Won't be long. Keep it up, Ree. She doesn't belong here anyway." They were actively trying to push me out, not just from the reunion but from the marriage, from the family. And based on the attachment Margie sent, yep, divorce papers drafted, ready to go. The entire family knew. They were all in on it except me. I didn't say anything, not right away. I took screenshots and emailed them to myself. Every message, every plan, every smug little comment about how I never fit in and how they were finally going to be rid of me. I went about the rest of the day like nothing happened. Smiled, helped in the kitchen, took photos with the group, played my part. Because if they wanted to ice me out, if they wanted to push me out quietly, well, they should have known better than to try and humiliate me under their own roof. They thought I'd be too polite, too blindsided to fight back. They thought I'd leave quietly. They were wrong. After I found the messages, I didn't confront anyone. Not yet. I wanted to see how far they'd take it. The next morning at breakfast, David and Sharon were whispering in the kitchen. I heard Sharon say, "Just wait until tonight. She'll be gone by then." Gone. That's when I realized they had something planned. It wasn't just silent treatment. They wanted to break me. But I smiled, ate my scrambled eggs, and sipped my coffee like I wasn't reading every move they made. By lunch, I noticed little things going missing. My phone charger gone, my makeup bag nowhere to be found, the book I'd been reading vanished. I asked David if he'd seen them. "Nope," he said, without even looking up from his phone. When I checked the guest room we were staying in, my suitcase had been unzipped and rifled through. Someone was trying to make me feel like I was losing it. And honestly, if I hadn't seen those messages, I might have thought I was. Margie knocked on the bedroom door. "Hey, Mara," she said in this sugary sweet voice she'd never used with me before. "How are you feeling? You've seemed off." I just smiled. "Oh, I'm great, thanks for asking." She tilted her head like she didn't believe me. "You know, if you're not happy here, no one would blame you if you wanted to head home early. These things aren't for everyone." I wanted to laugh, they weren't even being subtle. I said, "Oh no, I'm having a wonderful time." And that's when I knew for sure they were trying to make me pack my bags, and leave in the middle of the night. They wanted me to leave so they could say I walked out and make me the bad guy when the divorce papers showed up. They thought they were smarter than me, but here's where it gets good. That night, after everyone went to bed, I made copies of the group chat screenshots and printed them from the little wireless printer in the office, 20 copies, one for every person at the reunion. I slipped each copy under every bedroom door in that house except mine. Then I went back to bed and waited. Around 6 a.m., I heard Sharon's voice from downstairs. "What the hell is this?" Doors opened, voices started rising. Someone said, "Did you give this to her?" David shouted. "She wasn't supposed to see this." And then good old Ree said, "I told you this would backfire." At breakfast, nobody knew I was already awake. I heard David talking to Sharon. "She wasn't supposed to find out until after," he said. Sharon asked, "After what?" He paused and then said, "After we filed. After the money was moved." Money? That's when it clicked. David and I had joint accounts. We had been saving to buy a second property, a vacation house down near Hilton Head, and he had been slowly draining the account. Not all at once, not enough for me to notice right away, but little by little, every week for the past few months. The plan was to get me to leave, serve me papers, and keep the account cleared out before I knew what happened. So this wasn't just them wanting me gone because they didn't like me. This was them trying to rob me blind and kick me to the curb. And now I wasn't just angry, I was done playing nice. After breakfast, I sat on the porch while everyone tried to act normal. David came out and sat next to me, finally speaking to me like nothing had happened. "We should probably talk," he said, fake casual. "Maybe this isn't working anymore." I looked at him. "Yeah," I said. "Maybe it isn't." He leaned back, thinking he had the upper hand. Then he slipped. "You know, there's no reason to make this ugly. We can split what's left and move on." "What's left?" That's how I knew for sure the money was mostly gone. I nodded like I agreed. Sure, no reason to make a scene. But inside I was already making a plan. Because the thing about me they forgot is I never make a scene, I make history. After David's little slip about the money, I knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't just the cold shoulders. It wasn't just the silent treatment. The whole reunion, it was a setup. They weren't just trying to push me out emotionally. They were waiting to get me out legally, financially, and quietly. But they underestimated how long I can keep smiling while I'm setting the stage. I spent the rest of the day playing dumb, but while they were out on a family hike that I mysteriously wasn't invited to, I was on the house computer. See, David and I shared more than a bank account. We shared passwords and the fool hadn't even changed them. I logged in and checked the account. He'd already moved $887,000 into a private account under just his name. Gone just like that. Then I found the folder on the desktop labeled Reunion Docs. Curiosity got me inside. It was the draft of the divorce papers dated 3 weeks ago. Margie's husband, who is some big-shot lawyer, had drawn them up. They were planning to hand them to me this weekend in front of everyone, with the whole family watching like I was some sideshow act they were kicking off the stage. At that point, I decided they weren't going to hand me papers. I was going to hand them their own secrets and not privately. Dinner was set up outside on the deck. Big long table, candles, wine, the whole perfect family vibe. I waited until the food was served, until drinks were poured, until people started loosening up, getting comfortable, thinking they'd made it through the weekend without me snapping. Then I stood up. "Can I say something?" I asked real sweet. Heads turned. Margie gave me a little nod like finally maybe she's leaving. I clinked my glass and smiled. "I just want to thank you all for making this weekend so special. I know it must have taken a lot of effort to plan a group ambush complete with divorce papers and financial theft. That's dedication." Silence. Absolute silence. David froze, fork halfway to his mouth. Sharon's face drained of color. Ray choked on his wine. I kept going. "Oh, and don't worry, I found the bank transfers, David. Real subtle work there. And Margie, these papers you drew up? Very professional, but you left the date visible. Rookie mistake." Margie opened her mouth, probably to deny it, but I didn't give her the chance. I pulled out a manila folder and dropped it on the table. "This is a copy of the group chat, all your little plans. I printed extras in case anyone wants to take one home as a souvenir." I sat back down, picked up my wine, took a sip and just waited. Ray was the first to lose it. "This is ridiculous. You're being dramatic." Nobody was trying to. "Trying to what?" I snapped. "Trying to make me feel crazy? Trying to steal from me? Trying to humiliate me in front of the entire family? Because if that wasn't the plan, you all sure did a hell of a job pretending." David finally spoke. "Okay, look, Mara, maybe things have been rocky. Maybe we weren't handling it right, but you didn't exactly fit in. You've never fit in." And there it was, the truth straight from his mouth. Sharon added, "We just thought it would be better if you left quietly." For everyone's sake, I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Quietly, after everything you did behind my back, you really thought I was just going to roll over and disappear." Then, out of nowhere, David's younger cousin Kelly, who had been silent the whole time, spoke up. "This is so messed up," she said. "You all have been whispering about her for months. You planned this, and now you're just sitting here acting like she's the problem." Sharon glared at her. "Kelly, this isn't your business." "Actually, it kind of is," Kelly said. "You people are awful." And then she left the table, walked right into the house and slammed the door. One by one, people started peeling away. The cousins, the in-laws, people who'd been sitting on the fence pretending they weren't part of it, gone. Leaving just the ringleaders sitting there in the wreckage. Nobody ate dinner. Sharon and Margie went inside to whisper and scheme, but it was pointless. The damage was done. Ray tried to corner me in the kitchen, telling me I took things too far. "Oh, did I ruin your fun weekend?" I asked. "Go cry to someone who cares." David didn't speak to me the rest of the night. He didn't even sleep in the same room. By morning, people were packing up early. The reunion fell apart. All that planning, all that scheming, and the only thing they succeeded at was making themselves look like complete fools. I'd spent years trying to win these people over, years laughing at jokes that weren't funny, bringing dishes to parties, buying thoughtful gifts, offering help. No one appreciated it. For what? So they could stab me in the back the second they thought I was weak? The truth is, as awful as it was, I felt lighter, relieved almost. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining it. They really had been out to get me, and now they'd shown everyone exactly who they were. No hiding, no pretending. Just the raw, ugly truth spilled out on the dinner table for everyone to see. And the best part? I hadn't screamed. I hadn't thrown anything. I just laid the facts out and let them destroy themselves. And oh, they really did.